Welcome
to another episode of
Doctor Who Time and Space.
Or as we like to call it in Spanish,
Médico que el tiempo y el espacio.
So there you have it. So the Spanish people can enjoy the podcast equally as much as the English-speaking languages.
Yes.
Hello, I'm Deacle.
And I'm Lewis Moon.
Welcome to Doctor Who Time and Space.
Episode 151.
Wowza, that's an amazing amount.
151.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
I can. How have we found that much to talk about?
I don't know, but there's a lot more coming. We're going until at least the end of 2017.
Oh, and I'm sure beyond.
Probably.
We've got no. It's a normal time on this week. You might recall last week we were podcasting at about 10 o'clock or something like that, weren't we?
So this week we won't be sounding as drunk as we were last. We weren't even drunk last week.
You were tired, weren't you?
We were tired.
Yeah.
So I was a bit mad. I
So,
apologise.
So in this less mad than last week, what do we have on this week's show?
Well, we are going to be chatting all things Daleks, our opinions on Daleks in the first of our Monster Analogy series.
Sounds good. We'll also be doing a review of the Peter Davidson story Kinder.
Yes, I was going to correct you to say
We called it
right.
Kinder, didn't we, last week when we were?
We did,
when we
yeah,
finished
but
it
we
on the
made a
But
mistake.
it's Kinder. I nearly said the mistake.
We are going to have another round of quiz or question.
We will be pressing the randomizer.
And there's more news and views.
Is there?
Some very few.
Not much on the news department, is it?
But-
Do you want to start off with the news?
No. Do you want to talk about what we've been doing, who related, or
Let's
in
have
general this week?
a little chat in general.
How have you been this week?
I've been good. Yeah,
Cool.
thank you very much. It's been quite a nice week. No, actually, I've been working most of it. It's been quite a hard week. But what have I been doing in the evenings? Have I done anything else Who related? As you know, normally most of my stuff isn't Who related, is it?
Yeah.
I tend to save my Who related things to my time with you. So that's
And
really-
mostly the things you do who related are randomizer.
They are. So we obviously watched Kinder earlier in the week, but
Yeah.
we'll come on to that later. Aside from that, do you know, actually, I haven't actually watched that much this week. I watched my usual serials that I've got running at the moment with the Now TV stuff, which is the Walking Dead and Vinyl, both of which are
Game
really
of
cool.
Thrones you're watching on from previous series 3 at the moment.
Yeah, I'm catching up on that for the second time because it's a sort of all part of the build up for the very exciting season 6.
Are you going to do that every year?
I think, well, whether I do it every year is another matter, but I'm certainly doing it because I've only seen them once before. I'm sort of watching them again in advance of the new season. So that's really good. Aside from that, do you know, I don't think I've really watched much. I've been playing a little bit of my Lord of the Rings online game. I've been playing a little bit of Football Manager. And that's probably, I think that's about it. What have you been doing, sort of Who related?
Who related?
Or other things?
Well, last week I forgot to say, I want to fill in on last week as well because we didn't really. I listened to the beginning of the podcast again yesterday, and I noticed that we didn't do this little bit at the
We
beginning.
didn't. I think it's because we were so tired.
Yeah,
We just wanted
we
to get
just wanted
out
to
of the way and
get
go to bed.
Yeah, well, we didn't. I noticed that last week I didn't enjoy the show as much because I was too tired. But I still enjoyed it, but
Yeah, you did wake up once we got the news bit was quite hard work, wasn't it? That was quite tiring. Once we got on to talking about the Comic Con
Bournemouth
thing,
Film
I think we sort of livened up a little bit, didn't we?
yeah. But what I was gonna say, last week I finished series 9 rewatching
Oh yeah.
Hellbent. I finished that.
What was that like second time round?
Yeah, it was quite good.
Did you enjoy it more, less, the same?
The same, probably.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't see why people hate the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Or some people hate the episode. Some people really like it, but some others don't.
Yeah.
I finished Reign of Terror.
Oh yeah. Okay, so you'll probably have your review of that to go. I'm trying to think now. Have you done your Aztec review yet? You haven't, have you?
No, not yet.
Yeah.
Depends what pops up on the randomizer today.
Mm.
I started watching Red Dwarf yesterday,
Hooray.
which
that'll be
D.
good fun.
Cool lent me that.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy that. It's good. Although you were saying you were bemoaning the sort of added on audience sort of clapping.
I hate
and cheering,
it when the comedies like that.
Yeah,
but I've got used to them by now.
Yeah, but like I was saying to you, it used to be in that when that series first came out, that was very much of its time.
Yeah,
I used to get that with the majority of comedies, but it's definitely worth watching. It's very much, it's sort of like a comedy version of Blake Seven / Who, really.
Yeah.
So I think you'll enjoy that mightily.
Anything you did last week that we forgot to fill in?
Don't think I did. I think it's pretty much the same. I think it was just Vinyl, Walking Dead, Game of Thrones. I hadn't actually got around to watching other sort of things that I've got lined up. So no, I think
still got like Sherlock and stuff.
I've got so much stuff, and Daredevil dropped on Friday, so
yeah,
Daredevil series 2. So I'll be looking forward for that. So all in all, I think I could afford just to sit and watch stuff 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And
I wish we could all do that.
Yeah, it'd be good, wouldn't it? Unfortunately, we've got to work and go to school and things like that, haven't we? So we don't get the chance
to live our life.
We do have to live our lives, but so much to do. So what about non-Who related stuff? Anything you started watching Wolf Blood again, didn't you?
Oh yeah, the new series.
So good.
Yeah, and I found out the other day that there's episode 4 also live that I haven't watched yet.
Oh right, okay. So
there's one more episode I forgot to watch, but it's good. It's not. I don't think it's as strong as it was.
Yeah, probably because of some of the characters they'd lost. But it's one of the better of the kids programs, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the only program. It's the only kids program I watch now.
Yeah. Okay, so should we crack on with the news?
Yes.
We talk a little bit about what we've been doing.
Crack on with the news and woos and things like that.
Yes. And what's your getting the news up there? What we have got next week? When obviously last week we did our Bournemouth Comic Con special. Yeah. Next week we've got a little local Comic Con called Greedy Goblin. Which we're going along to. There's not a huge amount of Who stuff there, but it's very sci-fi.
Mostly Star Wars.
Yeah, but we're going to go and have a good look around, and we'll report some stuff. Maybe take a few videos, do a short behind the sofa, maybe.
I think we should just tag it on the end.
Yeah, okay.
But what was I going to say? There's not very good Who people. No offense, but there's not very good Who people.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Can you remember who we've got now? We've got the policeman from Logopolis, I remember that much.
Yeah. And we've got Big John.
Big John, that's right, yeah. He's fairly local to us, I think.
He's from Dorchester, yeah.
That's right, which is where the Greedy Goblin Com is. But I mean, it's good that they're doing something sort of so local anyway, isn't it? Yeah. Because that is literally on our doorstep. So, in terms of Who news, do we have anything this week?
Yes. So, new, quite exciting news now. New companion. Sorry, the computer's frozen on me for a sec. Oh, no, it hasn't now. The new companion has been cast and will be along any minute, reveals Peter Capaldi.
Ooh.
So I'll talk a bit about the other companion news that we've got as well. Okay. So, the new Doctor Who companion has been cast, and according to Peter Capaldi, Jenna Coleman's replacement could be announced very soon. There'll be a new companion along any minute, says Capaldi, which I'm very excited about because obviously I know who that is, and we've been doing a bit of work together already, and it's very exciting because it's a very different sort of take on it. So, do you think the companion will be announced by next week's show? Or in the next couple of shows?
I would think so. I reckon by next week. The other bit of this headline, I don't want to spoil it because we're going to come on to that in a minute. Has it mentioned that bit already? Carry on. I'll come on to that in a minute then. So I'll let you just carry on rather than ruin anything. Because I'm very good at ruining stuff.
You're very good at ruining stuff. Yeah. Capaldi added that unlike Coleman's character Clara Oswald, the new arrival will know very little about the Doctor. So Clara had prior knowledge about the Doctor. It was concerned as a human connected to your timeline. Conceived, as a human connected to your timeline, and so had access to the cosmic nature of the Doctor. She understood a little about how he was, and she was as she was already with 11th Doctor Matt Smith. She knew the Daleks and the TARDIS. Now we have someone who knows very little about the Doctor. How much or how little fans will already know about the new companion when they are finally announced remains to be seen.
So, it didn't mention that bit that I thought it was going to mention.
That's another bit of news,
Right, okay.
which is somewhere.
Oh, the excitement of it. Oh, the excitement of it. So, they haven't started filming yet then?
No. They're starting in May, I believe.
No, so not too
I've
far.
mentioned that about 1,000 times on this podcast.
Yeah. And I've forgotten it about 1,000 times.
You have probably about 1,000 times.
Right, okay.
Okay.
So more news around the companion.
So, wait. So. Oh, it's the same bit of news. It's the wrong link.
Ah, right.
Okay, so the other bit of news to do with the new Doctor Who companion is that it could be someone who Peter Capaldi has worked with before.
Yeah, no, that's quite intriguing because I thought that was from the same bit article that you're looking at the moment. I thought that was just a weird interpretation of something that Capaldi had said. But what makes him think that it could be someone Capaldi's worked with before?
I don't know. There must be some sort of interview or something.
If so,
because it had a different link before.
I mean, I guess the thing is, isn't it? Is Capaldi's worked with so many people. It's difficult for us to second guess that, isn't it? But I wonder who it could be.
So,
who do you reckon? What sort of companion do you think they'll go for? Not who you want, but who do you think they'll go for?
They're going to be very different, apparently. There's someone Peter Capaldi's worked with before. Could even be a man.
I don't think they will.
No, but could be.
Yeah.
Or it could be some sort of robot voiced by someone he's worked with.
Do you think so?
Before.
Yeah. We talked a bit, was it last week where we were talking about whether or not we'd like a sort of canine sort of companion, or did we do that offline?
I think we did that offline.
Yeah. But I think it's good to have at least one human companion as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll get that.
Hopefully we will.
Do we have any other new Who news this week? It's quite light on the news, isn't it? This week, as you would expect, I guess. What's this we got here?
Just looking.
Okay.
So, well, the next full series of Doctor Who in 2017 might seem a long way off. For star Peter Capaldi, the fun's about to start. Confirming that filming for the series will kick off very soon. Capaldi says he's raring to go for the Doctor's next adventure after some well-earned time off. And he was kind enough to give Radio Times, which is what we're reading this of, a few hints as to what we might expect to his third series in the title role. Okay. So, the series will feature more action and space travel.
Okay.
They said that last series, though.
So, yeah.
It will be less emotional.
I think that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I think what we've said a number of times, isn't it? We want it to be more exciting, and although we loved that last series, it was quite slow and thinky and talky, which was great, but probably not everybody's cup of tea. I know I was talking to someone at work the other day who said that they thought it was far too talky, and said it was the first time they'd ever watched Doctor Who and stopped watching it. Didn't bother watching the rest of the series.
Are they a new Who fan or both?
No, not old stuff as well. Basically, right from for years. So, yeah.
Okay, so the Doctor will face a truly cosmic threat.
That sounds quite interesting. I wonder what he means by that. He has got some quotes in here, hasn't he? So he
Yeah.
says, shall I read this bit?
Yeah, okay.
He says, I love seeing the Doctor being really confronted with the most cosmic of challenges, he said in a very bad Scottish accent. And then he reverted to an English accent and said, I love him really battling it out to save the universe from some awful threat, which is cosmic. And I think we've got quite a lot of that coming up. So I'm looking forward to taking the Doctor to the forefront of the cosmic battlefield.
Ooh.
So could this be an alien threat linked to the emphasis on space exploration? Do you know, it occurred to me the other day, actually, obviously Clara's gone now. And something that was never resolved was all the issue about Orson. What was it?
Oh, yeah.
And I wonder if we will ever see him. Maybe Orson is the next companion. Dun,
And he
dun,
has
dun.
worked with the Capaldi before.
Yeah.
You don't know. It could be like Perkins as the new companion.
That's true. A lot of people would like that, wouldn't they? Yeah.
Be
But I do think, I'm pretty sure. Because
Journey Blue is the new companion.
Yeah. Or the waif.
Who?
I've got no name of what she's showing now. She'd be good.
No, she wouldn't.
She
She'd
would.
be terrible.
Yeah, she'd be good.
She'd be terrible.
We'd have to do that dance every episode.
No.
What else does Capaldi think of it then about the series?
It's going to feel quite different.
Okay.
And we'll all still miss Jenna Coleman, but we'll move on.
Yeah. The longest serving companion in modern who gone.
Yeah.
So yes. It will be difficult, I think, because people have become very accustomed to Jenna Coleman. So it's going to be quite
And fans,
tricky.
haters and likers have been,
But it says there'll be a lot of fun introducing somebody new into it. So, and I'm sure they're right on that. So,
yeah.
Oh yes, but there'll be the fun of introducing a new person to all the people I've been working with for a while already. Now, see, he said that, and I wonder if that's the quote that people have caught on with. But I mean, all that seems to indicate is that he's worked with them already. It doesn't necessarily mean he's worked with them on something else. It could mean that he's been working with them now that they've been cast, and he's just been getting to know them, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not completely convinced it's going to be somebody.
Could be anyone.
Yeah, it could be anyone.
I hope it's not.
Is it you? Is it you? Go on, spill the beans.
No, it's not me. It's not me. All I can tell you is it will be announced next week. But it's not me. It's not me. It's me. But no, it's not me. Sorry.
We'll look forward. I reckon
it's you.
It could be me.
It is you. It is you.
I think we'll. I've got a feeling we'll find out by next week. I think we'll have the announcement on next week's show.
Whoa.
Yeah. If not, we'll make something up and pretend it's
Epic news week.
It will be
this week's been hard to find news.
Yes, yeah. Which is why we've just been talking random stuff in there. Do we have any more? Bits in there?
We do. So let's talk comics now. Do you like the look of these Fourth Doctor new comics that are coming out?
I love the look of Fourth Doctor comics because I think the Fourth Doctor, as we saw the other week when we saw Peter Capaldi draw the Fourth Doctor on the fan show.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
He's just got a great. He's just very easy to draw, isn't he? If you can do that. So that sort of caricature of the Fourth Doctor is probably going to be the greatest.
So the Fourth Doctor next Wednesday, March the 23rd, sees the long-awaited release of the Fourth Doctor, Volume 1, a brand new mini-series featuring the Fourth Doctor as played by Tom Baker and his companion Sarah Jane Smith as played by Elizabeth Sladen. This series is penned by the creative team of Robbie Burns, Witch Hunter, Gordon Rennie from 2000 AD, Judge Dredd, Department of Monstrology, and Emma Beebe, and illustrated by Brian Williamson, who also did the 12th Doctor.
Fantastic.
So it's about Victorian England. A mysterious woman commands a hidden army in the House of the Blind. Cyclops.
Where are you?
Scrylops.
Scryclops.
Stalk the streets, and something alien and terrible screams from prehistory, with a hunger that cannot be satisfied. The Fourth Doctor and Sarah Jane Smith return for an all-new adventure, The Gaze of Medusa.
I'll tell you what, the drawings on this look fantastic, don't they?
Yeah, so you can see them in the
I'm not
comic
sure what's going on.
books.
When you get onto there's a fifth one along, where it's got sort of like a weird, and this one here, it's got a very weird sort of comic strip.
They do that sometimes.
Yeah, it's good.
They do multiple colours.
It does look really, really good though, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Do you see these ones at all or not? These aren't the ones that you get.
They might be in Tales from the TARDIS. Well, the problem is, at the moment, I have to buy Tales from the TARDIS now because Doctor Who Comics ended now.
That's it.
So Tales from the TARDIS gives you series 2 of the adventures.
Right.
So it's basically the same magazine, just put in a different magazine.
Okay. I wonder why they did that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They did the first 3 or 4 issues whilst the other issue was ending with the 9th Doctor comics.
Right.
So it made you want to buy both of them. I didn't, but I didn't mind. And they had the ending of the 10th Doctor era in there.
Okay.
So it's really annoying, but, I had to cope.
Yeah, that is annoying, isn't it?
But, yeah.
Those crafty marketing people.
I know.
Oh.
They're very crafty.
Yeah. So do we have other news today?
Well,
Comics.
Also, there's a 8th Doctor comic, which also looks quite good coming. But
can I ask you something about comics?
Yeah.
Which Doctor do you think lends himself best to comics?
I think. I think Tom Baker does deserve to be in comics.
It'd be nice to see some Patrick Troughton ones as well, wouldn't it?
I think they should do all the Doctors at some point.
Yeah.
I think they would build up to that because they've done 4th Doctor, 8th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 9th Doctor, 10th Doctor, 11th Doctor, 12th Doctor.
Yeah.
So 6 Doctors.
The 4th is the old ones to do, just because he is the real iconic Doctor Who image, isn't he?
So I think maybe they'll go for. Who do you think they would go for next? If they went for a new Doctor,
they're most likely to do one of the first 4, aren't they?
William Hartnell, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because
one of the first 3, sorry.
Because well, I just think so, and I think they're going to do mini series of all the Doctors, and then see if they're successful, like the 9th Doctor, because the 9th Doctor's after Weapons of Mass Destruction was popular. They're doing a full series, an ongoing series of comics.
Yeah. Okay. Do we have further news?
Final bit of news. Last week on the fan show, Peter Capaldi was asked on the fan show to draw his Doctor Who life. And like all Doctor Who artists, he decided to interpret the brief and drew some old Doctors.
I was really impressed with his art, actually.
Yeah.
It was really, really good. And the fact he was talking at the same time as drawing was phenomenal, wasn't it?
I
know. There is a real use.
You can see that in the show notes, by the way.
When you see his drawing of William Hartnell, it makes you realise that there is a certain likeness between William Hartnell and Capaldi.
Yeah.
Very faint. I know that part of it is probably their age.
They're both about the same age. Yeah. They were. Well, you compare the ages.
Definitely worth watching that video, though, isn't it? So you'll put that in the show notes.
See that in the show notes, which will be out at an earlier time than that.
Yes, that's true.
On the day of the podcast.
On the
this
day,
time.
yes.
Not the day after.
Do we have further news?
No, I don't believe so.
Okay. Should we crack on with our first item proper then?
Just to say that it was quite a slow news week. Hopefully we'll have the companion announced by next week, which will mean quite a big news week. Because
otherwise we're going to, as this, not that it would be much of a difficulty for us, but we'll have to think of a additional item to throw in the show if we keep getting slow news weeks.
Merchandise.
Yeah, I'm sure we can think of some things.
Merchandise review.
It might just have to make Who to Face a weekly adventure. That'd blow our brains.
Yeah.
So, moving on
at the
then.
beginning of the show.
Yeah. Moving on then. So,
Okay.
the main item.
Is Daleks. We're looking at Daleks. Full stop.
Okay. So talk a little bit about what we're going to get out of this then.
So we're going to be looking at our opinions on the Daleks. And we're also going to ask a few questions about the Daleks. Why they're good, why they're not good, why they've been so successful.
Okay. Good. It's interesting, isn't it, when you look at how successful the Daleks actually are, and you sort of think that you can guarantee that when they were first invented, there would have been no idea quite how popular that character or that set of characters would be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, when the Daleks first came through in the episode Dalek, yeah, is that the name of it? The Daleks?
Yeah,
So
the
called?
Daleks.
Were they ever intended to come back again?
They killed them off at the end of the Daleks.
Yeah, I thought you said that. Because I've never seen.
But then they were so successful that they said, "We'll bring the Daleks back in Dalek Invasion of Earth."
Yeah.
But then they said, after Dalek Invasion of Earth, they're so successful, we're going to do Daleks 3, as it was entitled originally.
Was it? What did that become?
The Chase.
Okay, right. So, how many episodes in, or how many stories in, is the Daleks?
The second one.
Oh, it's as soon as that, is it?
Yeah.
So you had An Unearthly Child, which is that's not really the name of that first episode, is it? That's the name of the first. Sorry, that's the name of the first episode rather than the story, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you see, the first story, the first few stories had. It's quite confusing, this, so it will go into a little bit of a debate. So I'm just turning this on accidentally.
Yeah.
If it makes a sound, then it doesn't matter.
You'll fire that, isn't it?
But you see, each episode had like individual titles.
Yeah.
For example, An Unearthly Child, Cave of Skulls, Forest of Fear, The Firemakers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trust I know all of them.
So,
and then they had different names for the first few stories, like An Unearthly Child and 100,000 BC.
Right.
And for example, the Daleks had the Daleks. No, wait. Which one is it that has loads of titles? Can't remember now.
But when it's so when people talk about An Unearthly Child, so I know we're a little bit off topic, but we'll get back into it. When people talk about An Unearthly Child, are they talking about just that first episode, or are they generally talking about?
They could be talking about both, because An Unearthly Child is usually classed as a story. People usually forget about the whole thing, and they can't be. They don't know all of the episode names, or they can't be bothered, or they forgot, or just they think it's called. They think it's called An Unearthly Child, and that is one of the names. So, but it's also called, the overall story name is 100,000 BC.
So a little tester here for you. Not that this is quiz or question yet, because that's the end of the show.
Yeah.
But how did we first get to meet the Daleks then?
So the Daleks. So you've got Skaro.
Yeah.
And Daleks are against the Thals. And the Daleks took over the planet of the Thals, the Skaro. So they were at war, and the Thals want peace. But the Doctor, the reason they are first in it is because the Doctor and the crew have to try and get like I can't remember what it is, but something to fix the TARDIS. So they have to go down to the city to get it, but they struggled to escape. So they tried to set up a peace treaty between the Thals and the Daleks.
So did the Doctor know who the Daleks were when he met them as William Hartnell?
No.
So that was the first time we'd met him.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question I'm going to ask you around it. And if I take this off sort of track a little bit, and you don't want to cover it yet, just tell me, and we'll come back to it. But Daleks, do you think they are as good enemies as they're made out to be?
Well,
do you get excited when the Daleks come back?
Not anymore, really, because I've got bored of them now. I really enjoy it when new monsters come back. The Daleks and the Cybermen, which we'll talk about in next week's show, are just repetitive. Recently, the good thing about Daleks is they've had quite a few original ideas for the Daleks.
Yeah. Certainly, the last one was a good story, wasn't it?
The last few, actually.
Yeah. Yes.
Since Asylum of the Daleks, I think they've been good Dalek stories.
Well, that was going to bring me on to my next question.
Yeah.
And I say you may want to pick this up a bit later on, but if you were to recommend to people 3 Dalek episodes to watch from Old Who and New Who, what 3 do you think are the best 3 episodes? We know what the first one is, don't we? We know what the top one is.
The Daleks?
The best episode.
Is it the Daleks? No. The best episode.
Yeah.
Can I say episodes I'd recommend people to watch, not necessarily the episodes that?
Okay.
I'd say you have to watch the Daleks because it's the first Daleks.
Oh my God, I've not watched that.
You have to watch the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Oh my God, I've not watched that.
Very important.
I'd like to watch that one though.
You also have to watch Dalek.
Dalek.
The first Dalek one.
Let's
They're
see.
not necessarily the best ones. They're just ones you have to watch.
You see, I would say you'd have to watch Genesis of the Daleks.
Oh no! You'd have replace Dalek. No. Replace Dalek Invasion of Earth with Genesis of the Daleks.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you need to watch Dalek Invasion of Earth. Completely forgot about the best episode ever.
Yeah, no, that's right. I would say, if I was looking at it, Genesis of the Daleks is, as you just said then, probably the best episode of Doctor Who ever. Got to be in there, hasn't it? But you probably wouldn't necessarily want to watch it first because you, in many ways, because it is that backstory for the Daleks. You want to have seen the Daleks first of all.
I'd recommend the Daleks
the
or Dalek first because they're good introductory ones.
Yeah. So you would recommend Dalek if you were going to recommend any single New Who one to people. You'd recommend Dalek.
I think it's the most important one.
Yeah. Yeah. As you know, I'm not.
I know, but you just. It's just because you think it's overrated.
Yeah.
I think it's overrated, but.
I don't know. I don't necessarily. I think I would go for it, and I can only include the ones that I've seen. Okay, but I won't. I'm gonna go for the first one, even though I've not seen it, just because it's the first one. I'm gonna go for Genesis of the Daleks, and I think I am going to go for Asylum of the Daleks. Ahead of
Why? Why Asylum of the Daleks? Why do you need to watch?
Just because it shows you quite a range of different Daleks.
But you don't necessarily need to watch it.
You don't need to watch it. You
But
don't need to watch Dalek.
You don't need to watch anything. It's just
if
you could pick. I think you'd need to watch Dalek in order to. Dalek's a better episode for people to watch. However, I prefer Asylum of the Daleks.
Yeah. Do you
That's
think?
my argument.
Do you think what's your favourite Dalek?
What do you mean?
Mine's called Fred. No, what
Dalek
what sort of style of Dalek do you like best?
My favourite design. Let me think. Great design, this one. Special weapons Dalek. No, actually, I have quite a fond spot for the original Dalek Emperor from Evil of the Daleks.
Okay. Which Doctor's that?
Second.
Second Doctor.
Have you seen that
No.
design? Should I
Can't
show
remember.
you?
Yeah. Don't go over that page. I need that one there in a minute.
Yeah.
I think that. Do you know what I think? I think now the Daleks don't really look scary anymore.
No.
I mean, they've made them quite scary with the stories. I think of late with the.
That.
Oh yeah. In terms of like what they did with them in Asylum's quite dark. I think the Magician's Apprentice, which is familiar, was quite dark, and they gave them a sort of a threat. But I think when you see the Daleks come in for the first time, when they
Corner
sort of like corner Barbara, they are actually quite intimidating. I know they look their age, don't they? You know, they've dated a little bit, but you can see why the kids got so excited about them and why they were perceived to be such a threat.
I mean, the Daleks, they're a bit different than creatures like the Cybermen because they're basically the same design.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just different colour variations and stuff, or different add-ons.
Yeah.
What do you think about the overall design of the Daleks? What's your opinion on it?
What the multicolours type thing?
Just the overall. Do you think it's a good design? Do you think
it's different, isn't it? Something I'm not sure about, and it sort of comes on from that. Obviously, we now know that the design includes this open hatch bit where you can see like the mangly Daleks inside. At what stage was it determined that they weren't robots? Because when I was a kid, I was always under the impression that Daleks were robots.
I think it was I think we knew there was a mutant or something inside them from the very first story.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Do you think we will continue to see Daleks pretty much every series?
Well,
I mean, there is that rumor about that they've got to use them at some point. But I mean, they could easily just have a way around that, couldn't they? Maybe the next companion is going to be a Dalek turned good, so they can get around that solution.
But they'll have to be in it forever.
Yeah, that's right. But do you think we're doomed to always have to have a Dalek story in every series? And do you think that as a result of that, they've got a little bit boring?
They have got a little bit boring, I believe. I like the Daleks. To be honest, they're not my favourites, but they're not original anymore. They're not. Definitely in the. It's gone better now, but definitely in the Russell T Davies era and the early Stephen Moffat era, it was quite boring, Daleks. But now they have spiced them up a little bit. But I think they are getting a bit boring, and I think we need mostly new villains.
Yeah,
an occasional Dalek story, like every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, because I guess that's what used to make them good, isn't it? I mean, if you think of someone like Tom Baker, how many times did Tom Baker meet the Daleks? 2 times. I mean, that's not a lot, is it? In
7 years.
In 7 years, he met them twice. How many times did Matt Smith meet the Daleks?
Let me count. Do you count cameos?
Not yet. No.
Actual appearances. Yeah. Do you count Time of the Doctor?
Yeah.
Do you count Pandorica Opens?
Yeah, I guess that's the difficulty, that they tend to not have a huge role sometimes. How many proper Dalek heavy episodes are there?
There are 2 heavy Dalek episodes, if you don't count Time of the Doctor or Pandorica Opens or Wedding of River Song.
What about David Tennant?
David Tennant, God. I mean, talking about it, Christopher Eccleston met them twice in his first series.
Yeah. But I think that was okay to me because of the fact that there'd been such a big gap since we'd last seen them. So that sort of made sense because they are his biggest.
They're in it at least 3 times since David Tennant's era.
Yeah.
If you don't count any cameo appearances.
Yeah. And even if you look at Capaldi, how many times has Capaldi met them? the first series with Capaldi, what did we see of the Daleks in the first
Into
series?
Dalek.
Into the Dalek, yeah. So he's met them twice, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's met them as many times in 2 series as what Tom Baker did throughout his entire run.
God, and we know there's going to be more Daleks probably in the next series.
Yeah. So they are a little bit overused, aren't they? Even though the last 3 stories have been quite good.
Yeah.
It still feels like it'd be nice just to be if they can give it a rest. It'd be nice if they did, wouldn't it?
I wish they could.
Yeah. Indeed,
Don't know if they could though.
Yeah. What else did you? What sort of things did you want to ask about Dalek wise?
Is there anything else to cover?
What do you think is the worst Dalek story?
Oh, let me think.
Is it the Winston Churchill one? I mean, a lot of people sort of seem to think that one and the Daleks in Manhattan, or Daleks Take Manhattan.
I don't think Daleks Take Manhattan is as bad as Victory of the Daleks. Victory of the Daleks is the worst Dalek story.
Even including the classic Who ones, yeah?
Yeah.
Classic ones actually are probably generally better, do you think? Because of the fact they feel a bit fresher.
Yeah. I mean, you've watched a few classic Dalek adventures.
Yeah. I haven't seen any of the black and white ones, and I'd like to.
Okay, yeah.
I'm hoping to.
I haven't seen the 2 Patrick Troughton ones because they're missing.
Yeah. Thinking about news, what was that you picked up on? You were saying to me earlier on, or didn't you want to mention it, about what somebody had said at one of the Comic Cons?
Oh yeah, Deborah Watling said that they could have found the evil of the Daleks.
I mean, that would be pretty exciting, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Would be exciting.
Yeah.
And more and sad news as well. David Tennant's father died the other day.
Oh. Yeah. Poor David.
Yeah.
Anything else Dalek related?
Okay. I don't think so.
So this series that you're running at the moment, so it's going to move on with various different sorts of monsters onto the Cybermen next week.
Yeah, Cybermen next week. We've got the Master in a couple of weeks. I think we're going to do Silurians and Sontarans as well, because the Silurians and Sontarans will be interesting, because we'll be talking about definitely with the Sontarans if we like what they've done with things like Strax.
Yeah. Okay.
They like what we've done with the modern Who era. So
brilliant.
That will be for it will cover the next few weeks.
Okay. So if we finish that item, we'll pick it up again next week with the Cybermen. We're going to move on to our review of Kinder.
Kinder, yeah.
Kinder.
Yeah. Kinder.
So Kinder, so first of all, Kinder was selected by the amazing randomizer.
Which we'll press later on.
It was yet another Peter Davison one. We've had quite a few Peter Davison ones of late, the 5th Doctor. So in terms of a little bit about the story, basically the Doctor finds himself on this planet, jungle planet called Diva Luca, which is subject to an Earth colonization survey. So there's a number of people there looking to colonize the planet. A number of those people have gone missing, so 4 have gone missing, and those that remain are obviously, as you expect, fairly apprehensive. There's a very sort of angry type colonel,
or at least at the beginning,
Sanders, who is sort of
played
in charge
by Richard Todd.
Yeah, and he's got this sort of deputy called Hindle, who seems to be sort of breaking up, basically.
Played by Simon Roos.
Yeah, going a little bit mad. So when the TARDIS guys arrive, they're under a fair amount of stress. Nissa, who we don't
played
really see
by
too
Sarah
much,
Sutton.
We don't really see her too much in it, do we? But she collapses, and therefore, and I'm assuming there must be a reason she collapsed. I'm sure she must have been filming something else, whatever, because she's not really in it. She's basically rests in the TARDIS, whilst the Doctor,
played by Peter Davison,
and Adric,
played by Matthew Waterhouse,
basically decide to search around the jungle, whilst Tegan,
played by Janet Fielding, falls
asleep under these sort of like trying to think what you call them now. These sort of like sleepy things, ding 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 ding. These sort of wind chime sort of things, aren't they?
Yeah.
Now, she finds herself in this out-of-body experience where she accidentally releases the Mara, from a other dimension. Now, the Mara is this large snake-like creature who we don't get to see until the final part, other than it seems to be this snake-type tattoo thing that is on the arms. The jungle area itself has got these people populating it called the Kinder, who
played by various people
who can actually transmit their thoughts by minds, or they can read minds. And basically that probably gives enough of a background, does it not?
Yeah.
Do you think so?
I think so.
So, what we'll just say on it is that when Sanders goes out to explore further, because they have got this sort of thing of people not returning, the other guy, Hindle's left in charge, and he starts to crack up, basically, doesn't he? Because his mind gets infiltrated and he gets ever more mad. And as a result of that, he captures the Doctor and Adric, and let's face it, he's a loon.
And Todd, played by Nerys Hughes.
Yeah, she was good, wasn't she?
Yeah, she could have been a companion.
Yeah, she was good.
She could have been the 4th addition to the TARDIS companion crew.
Yeah. So, first up, what do you make of this story? Because it's weird, isn't it? Of all the stories we've watched, this is probably the weirdest Doctor Who story I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah. What do you make of it?
I like it.
Yeah.
It's very weird, and to say it's not as good as the other Mara story, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Even though it probably is in other people's, because it's quite high in Dawn. Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't remember having ever seen this one before. I mean, there's every chance I did watch it when I was growing up, but I don't remember it. It's just bonkers.
It is.
The episode is bonkers. The characters in it are even more bonkers, aren't they? I mean, because obviously that Hindle guy is a bit wacky, but then also when Sanders comes back and he's been taken over, or had his the mind stuff going on with the box that the Kinder give him, he's pretty out there as well, aren't they?
Yeah. And
it's like I don't know. I think it's like a Friday night at a student's pad. That's I think it is. With loads of wacky stuff going on.
It is probably the weirdest episode ever.
So the villain in it, we don't get to see the villain proper, do we, until the very end of the story, really. But
do you like that?
I do like that. It's quite different.
Yeah.
So basically, the Mara, is it? How do you pronounce it? The Mara.
You're getting confused with the girl who died monsters.
Yeah.
Maya.
The Maya, yeah. So the Mara is, as I mentioned, a sort of being from another dimension that has caused. If I understood it right, there's every chance I didn't, but it basically causes time to just run around in this sort of cycle.
Yeah.
Does that sound about right?
I think so. Something like that.
And it gets reintroduced back into this world through Tegan because she's not got the ability to fight it off. And it's this really cool. There's a really cool sequence, isn't there, where she's basically having this out of body sort of experience, and there's this really freaky guy that's
wait, do I know his name?
Is he the trickster?
Yeah, played by Lee Corns.
Yeah.
See if it's got a picture of him. See if it.
And he's completely bonkers as well, isn't he? The other real excellent character in it is the sort of jestery sort of guy for the Kinder. I like him. He's fun.
Is that Jeff Stewart?
Maybe. Maybe he is.
Is that him?
I don't recognise him in there. So, what do you think of it? What would you recommend this one to people? What's your views on it? Just generally. Is it one of the better Peter Davison ones, do you think?
I think it is one of the better ones.
Yeah.
Nearer the top than the bottom, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot better than episodes like Frontiers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if Frontiers pops up one day, then I'll give my rant on Frontiers because I don't really like it. I find it boring. But
You do like most of the Peter Davison ones, don't you?
I do like the Peter Davison era. I have a soft spot for the Peter
Mm.
Davison era.
What do you make of Tegan in this one?
I thought she was possessed by the Maramore in this one.
Did you?
Yeah, I must be getting confused with Snake Dance.
Okay, because I actually thought when she was possessed and she was sat up in the tree throwing apples at the other guy, I actually thought that was some of Tegan's strongest moments.
Yeah.
She actually played that really well when she was like a little bit
She
zany,
did.
didn't she? I quite liked it because sometimes I find her a little bit annoying, but
Yeah,
I thought
like
she was
all
really
of
good
the
in that.
TARDIS crew.
Yeah, it's certainly not the strongest set of companions, is it?
No, I
during
don't
Peter
really
Davidson
like
era?
that set.
But they were right.
This is boring.
Yeah.
Tegan's annoying and Adric's mix between them.
Yeah, yeah. The supporting cast, what do you make of them in this one?
Yeah, I like them.
Hmm.
Particularly Neris Hood.
Yeah.
But I also like the men in it as well. They're quite good.
What I think is funny about classic Who as against New Who is that when they have these sort of insane people and they're really, really over the top set insane, it's like the guy from Underwater Menace. He's like completely theatrically mad. And definitely this guy's the same. He's sort of like, whoa, ha, ha, ha! He's sort of like evil laughs and stuff like that. But when we first started watching Kinder, I thought to myself, I'm not sure I'm going to like this.
Yeah,
But-
I heard you say that.
But by the end of the first episode, I did really like it.
Yeah,
And
it's quite an enjoyable one.
Yeah. yeah. What do I think they could do better about it? Well, I guess now the Mara itself would look a lot better, wouldn't it? Because
Yeah.
it does look like a big plastic
It
snake.
does, and it is.
But that's part of the beauty of classic Who, and we love that too. Yeah, that's probably all my take on it.
Yeah.
I kinda liked it. Or Kinder liked it.
Kinder, yeah.
Or Kinder liked it.
Kinder liked it.
Yeah.
So, do you want to move on to scores?
Yeah, let's move on.
Right,
to
so
scores.
monsters. What did you think of the monsters? Out of 10.
Quite effective, I think, the way that they did with
Yeah.
Mara and coming in right at the end. I'm going to give it an 8. Actually, before you move on from there to the other scores,
Yeah.
so so you don't sort of forget what the scoring is. How often do we meet the Mara? So we meet it again in the televisual stuff through Snake Dance, but haven't they also used it in one of the Big Finish ones?
Used it in some books, I think.
Okay, because it's
In
got a
a
lot of
book.
potential, I think.
Yeah.
You could see it coming in again. Maybe one day in the Figure Adventures.
We just need to make some plastic.
Yeah, as long as we've got a big plastic snake somewhere, we'll be fine. Sorry, so 8 from that.
Character development.
Character development, never particularly strong in old Who, I don't think. I'll give it a 6. Right.
Yeah. Excitement.
Excitement, probably about a 7. Not particularly exciting.
Okay.
adventure,
Pace.
But pace is really good. Pace, I'm going to give it a 9 for pace, because I think
Okay.
actually the pace of it is perfect.
And overall.
Overall, I'll give it an 8.
So 38 is your score
Mhm.
out of 50.
Not bad, is it?
No.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. The only thing I didn't enjoy is when we had loads of problems watching it, didn't we? The
Yeah.
DVD kept jamming up and stuff like that. Well, the first time we watched it, we watched the first part, didn't we? And the computer blew up, and then the again. But it's an old computer. So
Yeah.
we know it's on its way out. So that jammed up when we were watching the first part. We were then watching. We then went downstairs and we watched it around your house. Kicked your mum off the telly and watched the rest of it on there. And then we watched parts 2 and 3 without any problem at all. I don't think.
But part
Part
4
4 was really problematic. Kept jamming up, didn't it?
Should we find out what's on the randomizer?
Let's move on to the randomizer.
Okay.
So anyone that hasn't listened to the show before, why not? But if you haven't, the randomizer is a spreadsheet with every episode of Who ever stored on it. we click a little macro on it once we've enabled it, and from that it will determine what we will be watching and talking about next week.
Or in the next few weeks. So,
are we ready to press it?
Yeah.
So let's see what comes up. Of course, it might potentially could pick up something which we've not actually seen before. Something which we can't have because it's not available. What are the chances of this happening?
It's another Fifth Doctor one.
The
amount of Fifth Doctor. We haven't had a classic Who that isn't a Fifth Doctor one since the end of January.
Yeah. So we're a bit Fifth
Had
Doctored
about
out,
1,000.
but we'll carry on with a little bit more. So what one is it?
It's Warriors of the Deep. So it's quite an interesting one because it's a very mixed opinion one.
Yeah.
Well, there's quite a lot of haters of Warriors of the Deep out there.
Yeah.
So it'll be intriguing to see what we think because we've already watched this one together. So
yes,
on rewatch, see what we think next week.
Okay, it's a Turlo one. I like Turlo ones.
Yeah.
So
Turlo's better than Adric.
Yeah. So we'll enjoy it. Good. Well, we'll be talking about that this time next week. So what does that bring us on to?
Okay, it's time for
Quiz or question.
Quiz or question.
Mhm.
Or as they say in Spanish.
Prueba o pregunta.
or as they say in German,
Quiz oder die Frage.
Yeah.
or as they say in Chinese.
测验或问题。
So what do we have on quiz or question? So quiz or question, basically. Do you want to explain the concept again?
So quiz or question is a thing where we have loads of things. We have quiz, which is has a right or wrong answer, and a question which can
Can be a bit of anything.
can be a bit of anything.
Yeah. So okay.
Multiple answers.
So what do we have first?
So,
then?
if you had a TARDIS, where would you go? Is the first quiz.
We had a
question.
TARDIS. Where would you go?
Quiz or question?
It's got to be an opinion one. So yeah. So in that respect, it's got to be a question. I would think. Okay. Let me think. I think I do know what I would go for on here. I think I would go for Victorian era, sort of in London, and I would actually go and try and solve the Jack the Ripper murders.
I would go somewhere in the past. I don't know. I'd just go through history to some of the key events in history. I wouldn't go to the future though, because don't want to see the end of the world because it could happen tomorrow.
That'd be really scary, wouldn't it? If you went to the end of the world and you found that it's tomorrow, it'd be like gutting, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Although I guess if you had a TARDIS, you'd just take all the people that you loved, fit them all in the TARDIS, and go back and live in the past again, thus living normal lives.
Yeah.
Or take them to a place in the future, another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would definitely go and solve the Jack the Ripper murders because it's one of the things that I'm a little bit obsessed with in history.
Oh, yeah.
So I would love to be able to solve that. So what's the next question that we've got?
Well, it is.
Name 3 celebrities from the Peter Capaldi era so far.
Okay.
Okay. So,
That's got to be a
quiz or question?
That's a quiz, isn't it? Okay.
quiz.
So 3 celebrities from the Peter Capaldi era so far. You're always better at this than me.
Okay, so let's go. Frank Skinner.
Yep.
Let's go. I'm gonna go with Michelle Gomez, and I'm gonna go with
Celebrities.
Oh, what I had one a minute ago.
Who have you got? It was just Capaldi area, weren't we?
Yeah.
So if we were just talking Capaldi area. Oh, well, how about you? So what about the guy in the Christmas one? You had 2 there, didn't you? You had
Nick
Greg.
Frost.
Oh yeah, good on Nick Frost. Yeah, let's go for Nick Frost. That wasn't the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of the new guy.
Greg Davies and Matt
Yeah,
Lucas.
yeah.
There are loads, but
Yeah, particularly Christmas ones. They tend to always try and have a sort of like a famous celebrity, don't they?
yeah.
So what's the next question? Because of Question Master.
What is the rudest, sexist episode? Quiz or question?
It's got to be an opinion, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has to be.
So there's no right or wrong answer. Is there anything? What would you say has been? I guess in terms of.
There would be a lot of classic keys, which.
Do you know? Rather than being sexist, I think there's a few like we talked about before that because of their time, when you look at them now, they're probably nearer being a little bit bordering on racist, like Talons of Wang Chai.
Yeah, I know.
Sexist insofar as a lot of the early one, particularly around the John Pertwee period, probably women are not treated with the same element of respect as what they would be now.
Not the same respect of character.
No, but I wouldn't say that. Certainly, none of them are intentionally rude or sexist by any means,
or racist.
Yeah, so I would say probably the nearest we'll get will be some of those early 70s ones. Okay.
Next
question.
Which monster appeared in Frontios? Quiz or question?
Okay, that's got to be a quiz because it might be a wrong answer. We were talking about Frontios earlier on, weren't we?
We were, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't even remember this episode. It's probably better. It's one that you.
Yeah, it's one So it's the Tractators. I have seen this episode. You haven't.
Okay.
So
what are they?
I can't really remember because the episode was so boring.
Was it that bad? Yeah.
It's not bad. It's just boring in my opinion.
Okay.
I need to watch it again though.
Well, maybe we'll get the way it's going at the moment. As it's a Peter Davidson episode, chances are we'll be watching that next week. There's got a bit of a thing about it, isn't it? We haven't fixed it. It just seems to like it's Peter Davidson episode. So, have we got any more quiz or questions?
Who is your favourite Who-related YouTuber? Quiz or question?
Okay, so that's got to be an opinion.
Question.
Mine would have to be the Mr. Lewis Moon channel.
Not mine though.
But not yours. Okay.
Can I say something?
You go for yours, yeah.
Batman March.
Okay.
But there are a few I like. I like Dr. Puppet.
Yeah.
I like the Doctor Who Official.
Mm-hmm.
I like DWTO, DWFA. I like Doctor Who Online Adventures.
Yeah. It's not a Doctor Who channel per se, but has a Doctor Who set of videos, and that'd be. I really like the Emergency Awesome ones because that guy. He likes a lot of the superhero ones, and I'm not a big lover on that many of them.
Apart from Daredevil.
Yeah, and Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
He did series on those, but he seems to like a lot of the same things as me. He likes Game of Thrones, he likes Walking Dead, he likes Doctor Who. So I think probably that's the one that I look. That tends to be the channel I always look at first of all to see whether there's anything new on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
What is your favourite unpopular episode? Quiz or question?
Okay, unpopular episode. Oh, well, the problem is with unpopular episodes. I think there's some which everybody seems to hate, like Fear Her, or most people seem to hate, and there's those which aren't ranked particularly highly, which we do like. Now, probably the best example from that respect, for me, would be Colony in Space. But I wouldn't say necessarily people that dislike it. It's just not particularly highly rated, but I really love it. And you, for instance, what would you say? That was a question, by the way.
Unpopular episode.
Yeah.
I would say Time Monster.
But it's not necessarily like with Colony in Space. It's unpopular, is it? It's just not as popular as others.
But apparently it's worse than Colony in Space.
We couldn't believe, could we, when we looked earlier on the Dorm rating, that I can comment on Time Monster because I've not seen it, but it was underneath Delta and the Bannerman.
I know.
That's got Ken Dodd in it, for God's sake. How can it be worse than that?
It's impossible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, actually, before we move on from that, what about New Who? What do you think is the best of the non-rated Who episodes? Got to be Hal Bent, isn't it? That was a real Marmite sort of episode, wasn't it?
Ready for the final?
Yeah.
If you could choose one monster to appear in MMA, who would it be? Quiz or question?
MLMA, so that's your figure adventures. I think Omega. Got to be Omega
Yeah.
for me because he's just a great villain, isn't he? I tell you what, I like this new quiz or question machine.
I
Do you
know.
agree on Omega, by the way?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we should invite the robot in to do quiz or question every week.
I think we should, yeah. I think she's very
she might actually.
likes it.
It might well be that the robot's more popular than we are, and therefore in future you'll only get the robot.
I know.
Yeah.
She'll just be answering her own questions.
Yes, no, that's right.
In other languages as well.
It could happen. So, does that bring us to the end of this week's episode? So, what do we have?
Wait a second.
Thank you for watching Doctor Who Time and Space, episode 151.
Thank you. Thank you, computer.
Thank you.
What do we have on episode 152?
Well, we are looking in our second of our Monster Analogy series at the Cybermen.
We will be giving our review and thoughts on another Peter Davison episode, Warriors of the Deep.
We will be having another round of Two-Face.
We will. We will probably be announcing the new Doctor Who companion.
Hopefully!
Hopefully! But
Hopefully!
if not, we will certainly be pressing the magic randomizer again.
Other news.
We'll have
Hopefully the new companion.
We might have some news. Who knows?
Hopefully.
So thank you very much for listening. We will see you this time next week for another episode of Doctor Who Time and Space. Thank you very much for listening in. See you next week.
Goodbye.